Why don't NHL empty net goals count for plus minus? Imagine a game where the final score is decided by an empty net goal. You might think that counts the same as any other goal, but in the world of plus minus statistics, it's a bit more complicated. Let's break down why empty net goals often don't influence a player's plus minus rating in the way you might expect. In the National Hockey League, when a team scores an empty net goal, it is usually treated as a regular goal for plus-minus calculations. If a player is on the ice when their team scores an empty net goal, they get a plus. If they are on the ice when the opposing team scores one, they get a minus. But there are some important nuances to keep in mind. Empty net goals happen when a team pulls their goalie to add an extra attacker, usually when they are trailing late in the game. This situation is more about strategy than individual skill. Because of this, plus-minus ratings can be skewed by these goals. Players on the team that scores the empty net goal often get a plus, especially if they are in defensive roles. Meanwhile, players on the opposing team who are on the ice when the goal is scored against them often get a minus. This creates a bias in the plus-minus statistic. It tends to favor players who are on the ice during these specific moments, which are more about game situation than pure defensive or offensive ability. For example, a defensive player might be on the ice during an empty net goal because the team is trying to protect a lead. That player gets a plus, but it doesn't necessarily mean they made a great defensive play. From a player analysis perspective, this can be misleading. Plus-minus doesn't fully reflect how well a player performs in defensive or positional play because it includes these situational goals. Coaches and analysts know that empty net goals are often more about game strategy than individual skill. So, they look at other stats to judge defensive performance. Many analysts prefer to use more detailed metrics that adjust for game situations, like shot suppression or defensive zone starts. These stats give a clearer picture of a player's true defensive impact without the distortion caused by empty net goals. In short, while empty net goals do count for plus-minus under normal circumstances, their influence can distort the overall rating. They are tied to game strategy and situation rather than a player's consistent defensive or offensive skills. That's why many experts consider plus-minus alone to be an incomplete measure of player performance, especially in defensive and positional play.